Who Put This On, Season 6, Episode 2, where we watch Celebrity Dating Game 2021, Season 1, Episode 1. I'm Chris Lorenz.
This is Brian.
No singer.
Hey, this is James.
All right, if this is your first time joining us, we watch a different reality show each week and discuss it in minute detail, figuring out if it's good or bad. Brian, what show are we watching this week?
We're watching the Celebrity Dating Game on Hulu. Hosted by actress and singer-songwriter Zooey Deschanel and multiple Grammy-winning singer-songwriter Michael Bolton, the Celebrity Dating Game offers a wry wink at modern dating with a star-studded roster of celebrity singles from television, music, comedy, reality TV, and feature film in their pursuit to find love. Offering the same iconic feel as the original classic dating show, each episode follows two celebrities who each pick one lucky suitor from a hidden panel of 3 bachelors and or bachelorettes, based on answers to a variety of questions. But there's a twist. The celebrity identities. Oh shoot! This thing's so long. My phone died out.
Oh man, you're almost done so well.
There's the twist.
But there's a twist. The celebrity identities will remain a mystery to their suitors, who are given clues via hilarious parody song performances by host Michael Bolton. This is Celebrity Dating Game on Hulu.
All right. Okay, so normally we've watched the episode by now, but this week we have a special task. But that show description revealed something that I'm going to absolutely dislike about this show.
Oh,
but
man, that made me like it better.
We're getting, oh, man.
You got to get pumped for Michael Bolton.
These are pre-show hot takes so far. But if you've listened to our finale, we had a bet about Quibi shows. So Brian bet that Quibi shows wouldn't be on Roku Originals until October.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
then Noah said they would be on before October.
Yep.
And then 4 days later, Roku announced all the originals coming out that day.
May 20th. Yeah, a week later. May 20th.
Yeah.
So, Brian, what happened?
I am very convinced that the only reason this happened is because I talked about it. So you're welcome, America.
So the consequences of this bet are you have to drink a full redneck margarita. Now, Brian, what is a redneck margarita?
So I haven't had this before, but I remember the podcast for this. And it is Mountain Dew and tequila.
James, can you tell me the history of this redneck margarita? Do you know it?
Oh, I definitely don't. I was not prepared for this. But I
Okay,
can tell you that some of us did a live event where we tasted this for the first time as a result of a show we watched.
Yeah,
I want to
can
say,
I can tell
can
you.
I guess at it?
Yeah, you can guess.
Okay, because I'm not very confident in this though, but I'm gonna guess. Was it Moonshiners?
No.
Damn.
Absolutely
Okay.
incorrect.
That seems like a good guess. Though. You gotta give me that.
I'm just surprised because you like this show.
I would say it's a good guess if I didn't know the drink had tequila in it. And by
That's true.
moonshiners,
That's
I'm
true.
assuming they don't make tequila.
I do regret my guess now. That is a terrible guess. I'll take my guess back.
Yeah, the reason I teed you because I thought you liked the show, so I figured you'd know that this show it comes from Floribama Shore.
Oh.
So-
Whoa, man, I do not remember that.
Yeah,
Is that
so
that must be a season 1.
Yeah, season 1, Floribama Shore. They had this terrible. Sorry.
I mean, there's some other crazy.
Oh, they
drinks.
had this drink, and we had a Facebook Live event, which you could still go watch, of us trying it for the first time. But now Brian was not there, nor was Noah. So
Nope.
we're all going to revisit this event, even though Brian's the only one that needs to.
Yeah, I applaud the camaraderie, but I really thought that I was going to take this journey alone. And
All right, so Brian, take a sip
okay.
and let us know.
Whoa, that was a
I-
whiff. What do you?
I
What do you?
Don't
took a
smell
whiff
it. Don't
of-
smell
Can
it.
you describe what you're smelling there, Brian?
Pure tequila.
Oh boy, here we go, folks. Ooh,
Oh, okay.
oh, that's a face.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that,
that's a reaction, Brian. What are you going through?
it's watered down tequila, and it just does not taste good. Sadly, I think this is bad tequila too. We really couldn't land the Dwayne The Rock Johnson sponsorship here. We really tried.
Terramana, right?
Yeah,
Did he just not respond? What happened? Yo, Internet Corner.
he was trying to fish for too much money.
Brian was in his DMs. I wasn't. Yeah.
I was gonna get him fame and fortune, and he wasn't having that.
Noah, do you have a verified Twitter?
No, I don't have a verified Twitter. I don't know if my Instagram.
But
So while
Eight
he's
five.
checking that, Brian, where would you put this in the top third, the middle, or the bottom of the third?
definitely bottom.
Whoa,
This
that
is-
was an immediate
Ooh.
reaction.
Whew. This just tastes like watered down tequila, and yeah, you can't. Oh,
So to give folks at home precisely what Brian is drinking, because I was a mixologist for tonight, I'll walk you through the complex details. Ice, about a third, 20 ounce, so about 7 ounces or so of Mountain Dew, and
Oh, man, I just
Man,
took a sip of that.
James's
Woo-hoo!
face.
I really
Why
had-
are we
I-
not live streaming?
Man, I
this?
Yeah.
really had
Yeah.
blocked this out. Sorry, do continue.
oh, good. And then Brian. So we all have about 5 to 7 ounces of Mountain Dew and ice. But what differs is the amount of alcohol in all our drinks. So Brian, losing the bet, going hard in the paint, has 2 shots in his drink. Myself, just wanting to get in the game a little bit, I have 1 shot. And then Chris and James are showing up, showing support, the half shot each.
Oh man,
All right,
I'm sorry,
I'm gonna
Brian.
take a taste. Noah, you take a taste too. And James, tell us what you think about this show.
man, this show. I gotta say, I am a little bit excited. I feel like there's some potential shade coming from some folks in the room here that are less excited than me. But I don't know, something about Zoe Deschanel, Michael Bolton. I don't know. They've gotten me with just the names alone. Brian,
I am
Tastes a
so
lot like
pumped.
Mountain Dew.
I think this is delicious.
I feel like if you get like a better Mountain Dew ratio, you're lucky.
Insanity.
Yeah, I think this is quite good. I mean, it tastes very much like tequila mixed with Mountain Dew.
yeah, I mean, it is a spot on description. I'd
Like,
say.
which I think is actually quite tasty, right? It's like I get it. Like Mountain Dew, you have the citrus, you got your tequila, good to go.
I got a question for the room. When is the last time you drank a Mountain Dew?
Whenever we did that live stream.
I think within the year, I went to Taco Bell, and they had a Taco Bell exclusive Mountain Dew flavor.
Was
I
it
forgot what
Baja Blast thing?
it wasn't Baja Blast. No, it was a different one. I forgot the sub brand.
Was this cool Taco Bell in California that's on like the beach?
No, this was somewhere in Washington
It's the
State.
one in Vegas. It's a club.
Yeah. Anyway, I had that.
No,
It-
that's the
yeah.
cantina.
Yeah, I had that. It was not good at all. The normal green one's much better.
All right. That's enough of the Mountain Dew talk. All right, we're gonna before we go back to our regular scheduled program. Brian, excited about the show? Not excited about the show.
I'm very excited because the first thing Zoe Deschanel, fairly attractive. But then Michael Bolton is thrown in the mix, and I immediately thought of that Lonely
What
Island
does the
song.
host attractiveness have anything to do with this show?
What does it not have to do with everything?
Okay, Noah, you're obviously excited.
Well, yeah. Also, it's a nice little crossover because Zoe Deschanel, I don't know if she's engaged, but she's been dating a bit one of the Property Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, the reality universe is strong.
Oh
my gosh.
Before we go to James, I have a follow up question for both of you. Predict where your ranking is going to be.
Middle third.
What do you got, Noah?
I'm with Brian. I think this is going to be a middle. I'm gonna even go double click in top of the middle.
So my prediction is that like this is going to be on par with like The Masked Singer for me, but then it's going to quickly fall.
All right, James, what do you got for me?
I have to say I'm exactly where Noah is. Middle, top of the middle. I think that's yeah.
I'm going to go with bottom third. I think this show's going to be really bad, and I'm sorry.
I think for all of our tastes, I think we might be right.
Well, yeah, we could all be right. Who knows? All right. Well, we'll be back to a regular scheduled program, right? And we're back after watching this terrible, awful episode, and I'm pretty
Spoilers!
sure.
Spoilers!
Pretty sure I was right. So we'll get into that. So this show is The Dating Game. It's 3 people.
The celebrity dating game.
Yeah, well, the show is The Dating Game. Just because like somebody was on the fucking Bachelorette doesn't make them a celebrity. Shocking to me, at least. Anyway,
Bachelorette and Bachelor and Dancing with the Stars.
Okay, all right. Thank you for clarifying. Anyway, they have 3 people on one side of a wall, 1 person on the other side of the wall. The one person asks questions to the 3, picks one, and then they go on a date, quote unquote, with somebody. Classic dating game. Everyone probably knows it. Although maybe like Zoomers don't like this hasn't been on the air for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of Zoomers tune in, so we should go over it.
You can explain it in greater detail if you want.
All right, I will explain in great detail. So, as Chris mentioned, you have one person who tries to infer through questioning 3 potential people they can date. And when we say date, very loose term there. Like, unclear if they ever actually do go on a date. Probably not. But basically, they can't see them, so they can only ask them different questions. And there is a lot of heavy, family-friendly innuendo. Such as, like, what would you like to do? Well, I would like to, bake some ziti. And by ziti, you know what I mean.
Don't you mean arts and crafts?
Or arts and crafts. Like, there's a bunch of nonsense like this that you click deeper, it's disgusting, but they can get away with it on the surface.
I don't know if it's disgusting. I feel like that's human. Like, it's all about humans doing human things. No, that wasn't disgusting.
Yeah, I'd much rather them just speak bluntly on what they want to do than it wouldn't be disgusting to me. But when they gotta be so opaque, your mind can wander. And
That's
guess
the
what?
point. They want you to wander. They want you to imagine.
Yeah, and then it's gonna get disgusting because that's what minds do.
Oh, okay. All right.
The show is more disgusting for some than others, apparently. Chris.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. Before we get into this whole dating game, let's talk about these hosts. We got Zoe Deschanel
Woo.
and Michael Bolton.
Woo.
All of the budget for this show goes directly to them.
Yes.
Directly in their pockets. They're like, I can't believe the level of celebrity they have as the hosts of this show compared to the freaking contestants of this show. Like, it's like, you're talking like, these are A-list celebrities versus like E-G, like Z-list celebrities.
Yeah, they're pretty high, and surprisingly, Zoe Deschanel's not a producer, but Michael Bolton is.
Michael Bolton must just love the dating game.
He is raking it in for doing absolutely nothing.
Hey, he's doing more than Zoe is.
I don't know about that.
Man. He
Right.
sings the song, but like outside of that, he's pretty awful.
Yeah, but he's singing. He's performing.
Sure, bring him. He can do a
Zoe-
guest spot. He doesn't even need to be on the show the other time.
Zoe is just like there reading off a cue card.
But he has like literally 50 years of being a professional singer. Not saying his job is easy, but he can tune in a little bit. Where Zoe, like, again, she's also a professional actress, but Michael Bolton has no emotion. He just sings. Zoe's got to get emotions and be on it.
More importantly, Michael Bolton's also reading from sheet music.
Whatever, guys. We can
But
argue
he's not
about
playing
this.
anything. He's
Zoe's
just singing.
definitely a way better host of the show,
All right,
Yeah.
I
hands
don't.
down.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying that Michael's doing something. He's performing.
singing a
I think
song.
that's definitely not giving enough credit to Zoe. I think she's not doing anything. She's doing a lot.
All right, whatever. You tweet at me.
He's the
she's
musical performance.
Tweet at us. Let us know what you
Yeah.
think.
I do gotta hit something in there on here though. Michael Bolton, his lack of facial expression, is
It's called Botox.
it's intense.
Yeah.
But it's not even the Botox. Like when he was singing, he just stares dead ahead.
Yeah, because the songs suck and the shows suck. And why is he doing this? Oh, money.
I mean, why not? Yeah.
Because he could do one show and make more than he's making in doing this whole show, like one live show.
He must
Maybe.
be a fan of the dating game.
He has to be, and
So
this
he
has
just
to be
didn't
like
let
a
us watch it.
COVID project, right? Like since he can't do live shows, like we can do the dating game during COVID.
Hmm.
Can't do that non-COVID.
So was
Like,
the audience live or no?
No.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's just a
it
button.
It didn't seem like it. I gotta say though, I'm looking at Michael Bolton's filmography. He has a little reality show streak going on.
Really?
Yeah, he was some reason he's credited as a writer, which seems odd, on the show called The Clash, which was like a musical competition. He was on a show called Beat Shazam, which you can probably guess what that is.
Yeah.
Like
But was he on like one episode of these, or was he like on it?
That's gonna take another click and more research.
All
But
right.
he's got a streak. Like he's been on a good amount.
Okay. All right. We got to move on. We got to get through this thing. So
Lip sync battle, man.
okay. So let's go to the actual people now. So we've got Hannah Brown, which if you can tell me who Hannah Brown is, just think about it. Who is Hannah Brown? And if you can answer that, good for you. I guarantee you a lot of people don't know who the hell Hannah Brown
And
is.
she wasn't just someone in your middle school biology class. She's actually somewhat of a semi-celebrity.
Yeah. Brian, tell me who Hannah Brown is.
I actually knew who she was because I watched that season of The Bachelorette. She is very well known for having sex in a windmill.
So she's on like 18 episodes of The Bachelorette and The Bachelor.
Yes.
And the only thing she's known for is having sex in a windmill.
Oh, so like her story for that is that like, so The Bachelorette runs and like second place dude becomes like the Bachelor. And then she has to like come on and like reassure him, like get him like off of like Hannah. Like he's still like too attached.
As you would be.
Yeah.
And they break up though. Because she's
Well-
on the show. She won The Bachelorette with somebody. So
Yeah.
she should be in a relationship with them, right? No?
Yeah. I can't remember actually what happened.
Aren't they trying to find love?
Trying to
I
find a
don't know.
date.
Just trying to find
This
money too.
show doesn't seem to be about love at all.
No.
I don't think they claim to be.
I have a clarifying question I need to ask about this whole windmill situation
Okay.
because it's still unknown to me. So I still don't know who Hannah Brown is. Even though I've seen the show.
I mean, like,
But I gotta know.
You know as much as you're gonna know.
No, I mean I'm hoping the corner or maybe Brian knows. So this windmill story, did this happen on the show or was this previous to the show, like,
No.
outside of the Bachelor universe thing?
This happened on the show. So like with
On
the-
camera.
No, this is not like on camera at all. Like this is like unknown. Like so they went on a day to a mini golf course. And then like it came out in like an article or something that like she had sex with one of them like in a windmill like twice. And then like people made t-shirts off of this. Like this is great. This is just an amazing moment that like she had to describe to like somebody else. Yeah, I had sex in a windmill twice.
Twice?
Yeah.
The same time, or they went back in?
I mean, no, it's a just one section in there. Like
So
What?
they took a break in the windmill.
I don't know
Well-
the exact details of this, man.
You should tweet at them and find out like how many climaxes were in there. Like what kind of break we talking about?
I'll see if she'll get back to me.
All right, so we've got Hannah Brown, this pseudo celebrity, is the celebrity in the celebrity dating game. So then we have 3 contestants. We've got Evan, which is a model. We've got Vishal, a software engineer at Google, which they didn't say, but some internet cornering from Mr. Noah Singer.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
we've-
what's interesting? So on his Instagram, he says he actually writes useless at Google, which is pretty funny. But he doesn't have a LinkedIn, which I'm surprised about.
This dude claims he's a comedian, useless at Google. Dude,
all right.
So you think it's a lie?
I think a lot of stuff is a lie about him.
Well, let's-
Oh,
we got Jake, Wall Street Investor, is our last one.
What was his name though? It was like Jake Magnism or something.
I didn't write down last names.
Wasn't it something like that?
It's something like
something-
it's something like that, but for all of our purposes, we'll call him Magnet.
Yeah.
Jake Magnet.
It's
Magnet.
Magnus, but
Magnus, that was it.
Magnet is what my autocorrect decided to change it to.
And what I have to say is that this segment with these 4 people was so fucking boring.
Yeah.
Like I could not. I like really wanted to turn this off really badly.
I think we nearly did. Like we discussed it in the
Well,
room.
we almost didn't watch the second half. We were like, do we have to? And Noah said we did, so we did.
Yay!
Like halfway through this, I thought, oh my God, this isn't over yet. And then I remembered we have another half to
This is,
go.
this is an hour-long show. This is insanity in my mind. This is an hour show. It boggles my mind. I can't imagine.
The ad
Who
revenue
thought
must
this was
be
a good
insane.
idea? Noah, can you look at the internet corner? The original dating game was it a half-hour segment or for 20-minute segment for regular people?
Oof, that's gonna be hard to look up. But
There
I'll
definitely
try.
couldn't have been like hour-long shows when
There's
there's only
just
4
like
channels on
no
the television,
way
right?
that they had 20 minutes to one. Like this is insanity.
I think the show was legitimately half. Like you could watch one and be fine. Like the second part of the show had nothing to do with
No,
the first
but
part.
I
They
think
were totally isolated.
In the original dating game, it was 10 minutes one, 10 minutes a whole nother,
Oh.
probably a whole nother
That could be.
person.
Could be. Don't know. There you
It's
go.
been since like the 90s since I've seen the dating game.
You know, the internet corner can only go so fast.
I will try, but I got some raised eyebrow about Vishal Kal. So he is I believe currently an engineer at Google. Unclear if he still works there. He previously worked at Wealthfront. He had a LinkedIn profile that's cached in Google's search, but it's no longer there. Why would he delete his profile? What's the story here?
Oh my!
Not gonna lie, I do not care about this.
I also, I think I gave up as you were talking. I'm just like,
I
could not
find this
care
to be
anymore.
so perplexing. Like, who deletes their LinkedIn?
I'm with Brian. I'm just like
I
could
have
care.
so many questions, but he did perform comedy in San Francisco earlier this evening.
Maybe he's a hacker. He was a former software engineer gone dark. So he's going black hat. He's got to take his,
Maybe
erase
he's
his
just trying to be
profile.
more of a stand-up comedian.
I am way more interested in you finding a YouTube video of doing comedian. Like, if you can find him doing comedy, that'd be actually kind
I
of
already
funny.
have it. It's in his Instagram story. He did it
Alright.
an hour ago. People were posting about
Yeah,
it.
perfect. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, I don't
we'll
know
do
if
that
the
after the
sound.
pod.
I have my sound off.
We'll
but
do
yeah.
that
I
after
feel
the
like we're
pod.
getting way too deep in the corner.
Yeah.
Well, this is Vishal Kal. I mean, he's a contestant. He's putting himself out there. Good for him. But now he's got to come to the public scrutiny, which is the podcast.
Chris, you
Exactly.
got to save us out of the
Sorry.
corner. Pull us
I'm,
out.
I'm looking at the internet corner. to
Oh,
find
you're in the
out.
corner
Oh
too.
man, he's in the corner.
Oh my god!
All right, all right, all right.
All right, should we go back to Magnet, Mr. Magnet?
No, let's go over the contestants and what funny things they said, and then we'll move on to the second half of the show. Really, so I got Evan. This is the arts and crafts guy. He said that the question was something about how it would be fun. What would you do for fun at home, or what would we do for fun at your house? And he said arts and crafts, which was humorous to many people on the show.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild that this like model is just like, oh, let's just do some arts and crafts. Let's like build some tiny stuff.
I mean, it is not a like answer I think many people would give.
Well,
No.
this is also where with contestant number 1, what you got to love about him is his response is just immediate. It's the first thing that pops in his head, and he just says it as fast as he can. And he's like, "That's the first thing that came to mind. That's what I'm saying." That was his whole approach to everything, and I don't think it worked very
It
well.
definitely didn't. And then contestant number 2 kept using arts and crafts as a euphemism for sex, and that was great.
Contestant 2 really pounced all over 1. Just really,
Mhm.
really took it over.
Well deserved.
That was he also did, what is it, a moonwalk or a Mars walk?
No,
It
so
was called both at some point, I thought.
he said I can do a moonwalk, but because it was kind of funky, Michael Bolton's like, oh, that's more of a Mars walk.
see,
I was
Michael
wondering where the
Bolton-
Mars walk came from.
Bringing nothing to the show, Chris.
Sick burn, Michael Bolton.
He also said he would take her to Lake Tahoe. It's the most beautiful place in the world he's ever been to.
Yeah, specifically to stay a night at a castle.
How much do you think that castle costs?
So I tried looking this up. There is, obviously, there is a castle. It's called Viking's Home in Lake Tahoe. It seems to be the only castle in Lake Tahoe. But it seems to be more like a tourist thing. There's no details
it's a
on
tourist
like
thing?
how to
Obviously.
stay the night here. It's like come visit. So unclear how much it costs.
maybe he has private access to a.
I
I'm
feel
a
like the United
castle.
States doesn't really have a lot of castles.
No, that's what makes this more special, James.
There you go.
Yeah.
I do want to stay at a night at Castle.
Let's talk about. The funniest thing I think in almost in the entire episode was that Hannah said that she's never had a PB&J before, and then Evan said the question was, "Give me a unique thing about you," and he says that he makes a chef status PB&J. What the fuck is a chef status?
Well,
PB&J?
he did explain what he meant
That-
by
that-
that.
He
Well,
toasts
we're gonna
it?
get to that. But
Yeah.
hang on. Before we get to that, because we're gonna get back to what exactly he defines it as. But what kind of answer is this? Like, this is just like a mimicked answer. Like, it was such an open-ended question. I just found it fascinating. He just chose to say, my favorite thing to do is just make this PB&J sandwich, which you've never had. And by the way, I make his, what he calls is the best version of it. Right. I just found the answer to approach like just baffling. Anybody else?
I mean, let's see how this went. Is that he was baffled by this PB&J because he loves PB&J.
Right.
And then he was like, I make great PB&J. And then he was out of time. Like, there wasn't like, he wasn't really answering the question.
Right.
In like the question aspect, he kind of got sidetracked by this PB&J question. I agree with you. I think that if she said like, oh, I have, fake hair, then like that his answer would have been real and like focused on the question, but he didn't.
So we can follow up with him. So Evan actually is doing well on TikTok. He's doing terrible on Instagram. He has like 60 followers, but on TikTok, 400,000 followers.
Is it all about PB&Js?
It's mostly him with the shirt off.
So have you already followed him or subscribed?
Not yet, but he does promote a Q&A with himself. So I think we can dig in a little bit, very easily slide into his Q&A and find out, Evan, what's up with these
He might have
PB&J?
answered it.
He didn't yet. The only food, he has 4 Q&As here. The only food one is, what's the best casserole?
Okay, all right.
I don't
We're
think
gonna move on from.
Somebody's got to
to
explain what the chef status quality PB&Js real quick though. Brian.
I thought I said he toasted it.
There you go.
Yeah, toast that bread. Pro tip for sandwiches.
I don't really like a toasted PB&J.
Yeah, I don't like a toasted PB. I'm with Chris.
I don't
No,
know what,
that makes it worse in my opinion. Noah.
I would never toast the PB&J. That said, I do think it would be the first step toward a very light toasting towards a chef level PB&J.
Here's what I think.
Maybe you toast one side.
No, that's weird.
That is really weird.
No,
why is that
toast
weird?
one side of the
I
bagel.
kind of like the soft bread with the PB&J, so like I feel like maybe toast one side. Like
Wait, one side of a bagel? What kind of animals are you? Toast one
That's
part
what
of
you do,
bread.
toast one side of the bagel.
What is it?
What?
What?
I don't know.
You mean one half of it?
No.
Oh, so you mean it's like one oh I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
He's talking about the inside of the
Because like
outside.
I'm thinking like you putting it in a toaster. I'm like toast both sides at once. You're talking about like sunny side up or down, whatever on the bagel.
I don't know. We're moving on from this because I don't know what I'm talking about. And I don't need to get in an argument over something I don't really know. So we're gonna move on from this, and we're gonna move on to the next contestant, and away from the funniest part of this whole show.
Sadly.
Let's go to Vishal. He's karaoke. He loves karaoke, and he loves video games. And Hannah hates video games. She she got very unaroused every time he said video games, and he said it multiple times. So he was out. There was no way he was picked. Vishal said.
Yeah, sorry, Vishal.
That's all I wrote about that guy.
I wrote nothing. Like that once I knew that dude was out. Like
This is also when I was paying attention, so expect a lot less notes going forward.
The show ended really quick after this for Chris.
So we got Jake. His perfect date idea was sweatpants, Netflix, and chill. Yeah. Very, stock standard, good answer. Yep. Unlike arts and crafts.
Hannah liked that answer. She liked the sweatpants part in particular.
Yeah. There was a question about what 3 things he would take with him on to move to a separate country or something. Mm-hmm. And he had a good answer was take you. Yep. That's a good answer. But then he also said the Lord of the Rings trilogy on Blu-ray or I don't know if he mentioned what.
No, he didn't say what media format.
Well,
I thought he said the book.
No, he just said the trilogy.
He just said Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is, it's just an interesting thing to take when it's all digital, unless he's got first edition books. I didn't think about that. That would be.
But even if you have first edition books, you can get ruined on the island.
No, they're just moving to another country now. They're not going to an island.
Oh, I thought it was an island. I'll take it back.
So maybe it just seemed like an odd thing to say. What else?
Additional question on that though: is it pretty commonplace to take your dog on an international trip? No, you're a dog owner, what's the term? The dog handler? Father?
Father. Yeah.
Instead of
I'll make you an offer.
So
he's
the dog
Vader.
father. That's
yeah.
a cool name, the Dogfather.
Dog Vader.
I mean, I don't ask everyone to call me that, but in this context, yeah, that's what I would
Okay,
say.
so as a Dogfather,
Yeah.
would you say it's commonplace to take dog on said trip international?
You like can't.
International, I'm sure you can. It would be pretty difficult. So even when you travel between states in America with a dog, different states have different like fees you need to pay to get like certification. At a minimum, you usually need to even go to your local vet to get like a travel certification. So that's already a couple $100 just to get your dog on a flight. International, I imagine it's that, times 2 or 3.
My friends just moved to Hawaii and they have a dog. They had to do this whole rabies thing where they had to like get their shots and like do a blood test. I forget. There was a whole thing to just move to Hawaii. And like the US is really strict about rabies, so I'm not even sure like if you took a dog overseas and brought them back, like there's probably even more scenarios there than even just going to that one country.
Depends. Hawaii's really unique because they've eradicated a lot of different diseases. Like I think rabies specifically, I could be wrong on
Yeah,
that.
there's no rabies there.
Yeah, and so like because they've eradicated it, it's like literally 0, right? They're really intense. I'm sure other island countries are probably similar. If you're not island, it's probably, I'm guessing, a little looser because then you have different type of borders.
But there was this news story this week about how they just banned dogs from like a bunch of countries.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? No idea.
So definitely not a thing. Great tangent. More interesting than the show. A couple things more about Jake is that his dance move is sprinkler. He's got a great sprinkler.
It's pretty good.
If you don't know what a sprinkler is, you can find some on YouTube. I would not suggest watching this show. Anyway,
I would suggest not searching for it on Pornhub either. Very different. Very different.
That's definitely different. There was something about would you like it rough or gentle
If you were the ocean.
if you were the ocean?
Right.
And he said he would start gentle, go rough, back to gentle.
No, there was a key word you're missing here.
Okay, no.
He
explain
said
it
he
to
would
us.
start gentle and then at climax get rough, then get gentle again.
Yeah, this is what Noah hated about this show. He just wanted him to be like. I feel like that was not very innuendo-y. I feel like he was really talking about it.
Yeah, because
I
there's
appreciate that, yeah.
there's no concept of climax like within like, the time.
The ocean.
Yeah.
The ocean climax.
Yeah, that marine biology class, they didn't talk about the climax section a lot.
Does a wave climax
Like-
like when it reaches its like peak, or is a
That's-
wave more continuous?
Peak.
I don't know if you could say that's like the climax of the wave.
I think they were using like climax and innuendo for like high tide, but
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, the tide could have a. That's an interesting.
anyway, it was being very explicit.
Well, anyway, Jake wins. Jake gets picked, and
Nobody cares.
that's it. We don't get to see the date. We don't get to do or like. It's just fucking garbage.
There's a very key piece of minutia that we have to talk.
I know we
got
got to talk about this song.
No, the blowing of the kiss, the coordinated blowing of the kiss to say
Well, he
goodbye
fa-
to end the show.
He didn't. He
is
failed.
insane. Everybody does it at the end of the show, and it's nuts.
Though. Well, I think Zoe and Hannah did a great job of coordinating.
They definitely did it.
So
That's the minutia you want to talk about. Like,
No, that was it. It was just a quick side chick. Back
okay,
to the
Noah,
show.
what do you want to talk about?
question for y'all. Let's say the show, instead of doing a second round, now we see them go on their first date. Does this show get better?
No.
Because they're already 20 minutes of really boring. That's not going to fix anything.
Absolutely not. In fact, I think that they do not go on a date.
I agree with that, right? I don't think they do either. That's what I'm saying. If the show continued down that path.
I mean, they might say a couple words backstage.
Okay,
Is
bye.
that- is that a
Next.
date? Is that a date?
So you're actually engaged with someone, right? Oh, yeah, cool. All right, bye.
There's a
I
couple.
do think there's an element there though, where if they were walking out, like so they come together at the stage, right? And there's kind of that exit shot, but instead of just zooming away, they had to walk down a tunnel, say similar to the Shark Tank exit, and you had the like still the live mics to pick up the banner to be like, "Ooh, what do you think?" or like see some stuff. That'd be interesting.
That would be.
That'd be very cool.
Well, so like the dating game is like one of the OG like dating shows. It's like from 1963. Like it's
Yep.
on ABC for like a decade. Like this is there's so many better iterations of the show. To go back to this it seems so terrible.
Yeah.
And back to the internet corner, I did verify 25-minute show, 2 full rounds, 25 minutes, not one round. I don't understand this whole like make things twice as long. Who wants that? Just-
Ad makers want that.
I don't want, but ad makers want you to watch the damn thing.
Well, they're hoping that the nostalgia factor brings you back in, Chris.
I mean, that's the only reason this show exists.
Yeah, I do got to say the people they've gotten on this show on the OG, they have some really heavy hitter guests. And by far the biggest one hitting Michael Jackson as
So on the original Celebrity Dating Game, not the
I don't-
original dating game.
yeah. So there's a section on the Wikipedia article for the dating game. There's not like a specific article for the new version, so it's all merged. There's one section talks about the guests that are on the dating show that have since become famous, but then they say or special guest star. So it's unclear if a lot of these are famous beforehand. I think not. Like Judd Apatow, I doubt he was famous. He was on the 80s. Find that pretty cool. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the 60s. He might have been a guest star. There's actually a decent number of people that are like, oh, Bryan Cranston, Mr. White.
what?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, whatever.
You just want this to be like you can't talk about this anymore.
No, I can talk about it. It's just I don't care if they were on the dating game.
Okay, so do you think Bryan Cranston went out on a date with the person they matched up with?
I don't know.
Do you think he's married to that person?
That's really where I want to steer the conversation,
No,
which is
yeah.
like, what's the hit rate on in the entire history? Has anyone ever been successful from the dating game as a result?
Yeah.
I feel like this is low.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
They're not looking for love on
Like-
this one.
I would take being on the Wikipedia page.
I'm hearing you can't trust the process.
Definitely couldn't.
No process
Hey.
here.
Hannah could not trust any process.
All right, let's get back to this garbage. Let's talk about the continual question that they kept asking is, who am I? And it was a terrible question because all they would say is like, oh, you're a Taylor Swift and you're a Hillary Clinton and you're like the most famous people in the world. To be fair, Zoe Deschanel's there, so that sets the bar really high. And the bar just like falls off a cliff.
I'm pretty sure we all came in with pretty high expectations.
Whoa. I
No.
wanted to go to a different week when there were different celebrities, and I was vetoed.
There's only one episode, Chris.
I know I was willing to wait.
You had an option of one.
I was willing. We could have watched the Michael Jackson one, dude.
You know, we thought it was going to be like Krispy Kreme, hot now.
We could have watched the Michael Jackson one. But to this episode, somebody guessed it. Vishal. He guessed
Yeah.
that it was Hannah because he watches The Bachelor with all his friends on Monday night.
There you
Similar to somebody on this podcast.
Yeah, that didn't really make me feel good.
So many similarities between him.
Yeah, that's not making me feel good.
The last thing before we move on to the next set of contestants here is the song by the other super famous host here, Michael Bolton, which his singing was great.
Yeah.
The song, not so much.
He only had so much to work with.
I
Yeah.
know.
It was really funny. Like they said, like, oh yeah, this song is gonna be a hint for the person, and like he tries to be like subtle about it. Like,
Oh, does he?
no.
The first time was subtle.
Yeah, so he rolls in with like, oh yeah, from Bachelorettes to Miss America, like describing like her past. Like that was a good like subtle hint. Like it fell with the lyrics, and then the end, it was just like she's on the Bachelorette. Like, it's like-
No, and he mentioned the windmill.
Oh,
yeah. That's also true. Like but that also fit with the song. Like just coming out and saying
How many
she's on the-
songs have a windmill in it?
No, he made like the song up. Like the whole
I
thing. was-
know, but I'm just saying, like, how many songs did you like? Like, you drop the windmill word in any song, and it's standing out to me.
You're right,
Uh.
but at the same time, yeah. I guess like if you also didn't know, the windmill would not have made sense unless you knew it was her.
The windmill really doesn't ever make sense unless you're playing like mini golf.
The
Yeah.
one thing I have to say about this is this adds nothing to this at all. It is not a twist. It is garbage.
They were really banking hard on Michael Bolton carrying the show, and they failed.
Well, Chris said he was the best host. Remember that?
He's doing something. He's
How you feeling about that now?
not so good. Not so good. One last thing, actually, you reminded me of the windmill. Is that contestant 3, whatever his name is, also said he had sex in a windmill?
No, he didn't.
Such another bullshit answer. Just a copycat answer.
I
It's like
don't
peanut butter
know.
and jelly.
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because these people are all just nervous as hell and on TV for the first time in their lives.
And they're like, "Oh my god, I can date a celebrity." You're not going on a date.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about our next pseudo celebrity, Nicole Breyer. From, if you're a reality show watcher, you would know as the host of Nailed It, which might be the worst show possible. I hate that show.
No.
It's worse than this show.
Chris Lee Knows Best exists. It's not worse. Than
I
that.
knew you were
I
gonna
know
say
it's
that.
not the worst, but it's like it's a bottom 10 show
Yeah.
ever. Slightly above this one, or slightly below this one.
So is that just a Chris rating, or is that a who put this on official rating average?
I forget. I literally hate the tone. It's just making fun of people. Like, I don't need to see that. Like, I'm okay.
People like it, and it was nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award.
We did it during Emmy. We did it for Emmy month,
No. I do kind of recall that.
and it's just like it's a personal Chris worst 10.
I get you.
So don't watch that. But that's what she's famous for. She's also a comedian of some kind. I don't know.
Yeah.
Noah,
I
can
think
you
she's
internet
pretty funny.
corner this for us?
Yeah, she actually there's a section on Wikipedia called comedic style.
Yes.
Which I haven't seen before. Most easily compared to a raunchier Retta with a hint of Alana Glazer's madcap energy. She's mouthy, vulgar, a little bit goofy, relatable, but ridiculously charming, and not afraid to infuse her broad comedy with a confident sexuality.
I feel like Red is already pretty raunchy. Like, how much raunchier can we get? This is great.
Unclear. That's from The Ringer. I think she's great. I think she like shows up super good on TV. I would definitely watch her in a bunch of things. She makes TV better to watch.
Would you watch her in Taskmaster?
100%.
Easy. Yeah.
Okay. Just those questions.
I mean, but like I'd watch Taskmaster anyway. So it's like
Sure.
now with her on it, it's like why
we'll,
wouldn't
have
I?
to, we'll have to get to that.
She-
That's coming back.
She
Don't worry
would
about
say
that.
nailed it.
Yeah.
She would. That's her show. So let's talk about her contestants. Punish. I don't
Yeah.
know what to
Yeah,
call these
yeah.
people.
Her options.
Her options. Let's talk about.
Were you going to say punishments?
I mean, I'm with Chris on this one.
I don't know what I was going to say.
I like these guys.
Walter. Let's talk about Walter.
Yeah.
He's a podcast host.
Yeah. The Activated podcast. I found it
Okay, and we got Nate. He's a recruiter.
for the DOJ.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we got Stefan. He's a photographer
Poet.
and poet. That's literally how I wrote about that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Walter, though, obviously podcast host. We're podcast hosts. No, can you tell me what podcast this guy is on?
Yeah. I actually found them all on Instagram, which is cool because Walter links to them. So Walter hosts a podcast called the Activated Podcast.
What
It
kind
is-
of podcast is that?
Interesting. So Walter's a comedian. I assume the Activated Podcast can be a comedy podcast. Am I wrong?
It sounds like a Black Lives Matter podcast.
It is. Yeah. Activist news, San Diego protest coverage, weekly podcast. Pretty cool. not what I was expecting from a
So-
comedian.
Since we have a weekly podcast, when we go on the show, do we say we're a podcaster?
When I meet people at work, I tell them I'm a podcaster.
Okay.
You're a podcaster, dude.
We're podcasters?
Yeah,
That's
I
my-
say
We're
first.
not on the
I'm a-
YouTube
I'm a
yet, so
pocket-
you can't be a YouTuber.
Well, if you meet people at work, they know you work for Facebook, so like that doesn't count.
Maybe. Just
I have
joining
a
their
vi-
meeting.
Visitor badge. I'm a podcaster.
Celebrity talent.
Wait, you're not a social media influencer?
I saw him listen to an ongoing crossover episode.
This guy was great. He said
Yeah.
nonsensical things. He's provided a lot of funny energy because he's like crazy. So like they asked all the contestants what love like feels like or means to them. And
Oh,
he had
yes.
the best answer. He was like, he was like when you go to the bathroom.
Whoa. When you first wake up in the morning, though, you got to paint the full picture.
Do you know the whole picture? I don't remember. I can give you a general idea.
I mean, I think I remember most of it.
Okay,
Which
go
was so Walter, right? His definition of love. It's like that feeling when you first wake up early in the morning, and you're getting up, you're stretching out, getting your way, making your way to the restroom, and it's that moment after you sit down and you have that first big dump. Those are his words. And he's like, but wait, because at this point, obviously, everyone freaks out. He's like, no, but wait, hear me out. Like, you finish that, you take a nice shower, and you get all clean, and it's that moment right after. That's about the best I can do to help this guy out with this horrible story.
That was almost word for word, I think, because they interrupted him because they were like, "Wait, love for you feels like after a dump or a dump." It was great. That was this probably the second best guy on this whole show.
Yeah, he's excellent.
I
Oh.
initially thought like negatively of the dumb thing, but then like it's way more positive. Like it's pretty
Well,
good.
the initial thing, like the thing is like he could have said something like, "Love is like the feeling after like a shower after you took a great dump." Like you can you could set it up that like, oh, it's after the shower, not like it's the dump. And like just the way he went about that.
There was
it's
so
like,
much emphasis.
And this
too.
is like a terrible comedian. Like what?
It's hilarious.
Let's be clear. He was definitely thinking about the dump.
It's so funny.
Another thing they asked him was like, I have 2 dogs. How would you greet my dogs?
Oh, this is a good question.
And he was like, I'm going to use my stepdad voice.
Whoa. Oh, yeah. Can you do it?
And
You
they
got
were
it.
like, what do you like? Can you give us an example? And he was like, sit down. Like he would like change his voice low like that and be like, sit down. But like I wouldn't say sit down. Blah, blah, blah. Like he was trying to backpedal from the sit down.
I really like this game because I liked how, like, I feel like your take on it was a little bit slower than my take,
Yeah.
which would have been. And so now that I'm kind of curious, I feel like it'd be fun to hear everyone's version of the stepdad doggy voice. So, like, whoever wants to go, I feel like you should go for it.
Sit down.
That was
That's close. I feel like that's a bit close. What do you got, Noah?
So I think you have to contrast it because he was talking, explaining his answer. He's like, "Oh yeah, the stepdad voice. Sit down."
Okay. Yeah. Pretty good. I don't know if I can do it,
You
but
gotta do it.
Gotta
I'm
do it
I mean,
now.
I'm clearly gonna do it, but I'm obviously not gonna be good at it. But it was like, sit down.
Well, that's pretty.
It was more like a hey, kind of like I felt like, but it was
Yeah.
hard to get without the hey. I don't know how he did it, but it was
Sit
very
down.
stark.
Well, now, kids, we have new rules around here.
All right.
But then he described it as I'd be firm, but I let him know that I love him.
such a
He's
back-
great.
such
This was a
back-
great answer. It was very.
After
funny.
I heard that, I definitely wrote down this dude is so out.
Oh man.
Oh, he was out long before this answer. Dude.
I don't know, like,
He was out at the dump. I promise you. He
Yeah.
was out at the dump.
but because she's a comedian, not that I don't think they knew that. Like, I could see his oddity be very endearing.
Okay.
we got.
I think if he was an actual comedian, he would have leaned into the dumb piece. Like he would have leaned into like, oh haha, I goofed up. Like
He's a podcaster.
yeah.
I think he's super
Wait, he's a podcaster? I thought he was a comedian too.
That's what Noah said.
So yeah, he is a comedian. Like he has shows on his Instagram and whatnot. But he guest stars on a lot of podcasts. But the only podcast I see that he like does consistently is this protest podcast
Yeah,
for
we
San
talked
Diego.
about it. We're moving
Yeah.
on. We're gonna talk about the last. We got to talk about one more thing with this guy. Is that at some point he got this ridiculous question of give me the 10 names of our 10 kids. And it was just like, what? Why are you asking this guy to come with 10 names? Who gives a fuck? Like, what? Why is this a question? And this guy just hated this question too. He was just like,
His first answer was his own name,
he was like,
Walter Jr.
what was what? He's like Walter Jr., Sierra, like a bunch of other names, and then he just lost it. He was like Gary, Indiana, and like he just said like
He got to about number 7 or maybe number 8, but number 8 was Bentley truck.
Yeah,
he
so good.
just started naming random.
Number 6 was my favorite, MacBook Air.
MacBook Air was pretty good.
I'm gonna look at objects around my place and start naming my kids after them.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
This guy made the show. Like I'm giving a lot of credit, but I think he deserves it. I want to go listen to his stuff now. Like I'm a fan.
Well, you
Ford
should
fan.
give us an update next
Yeah.
week on his activist podcast.
Yeah,
No, you've fallen into his trap. This was an entire advertising gig for him.
clearly, and yeah, trap received.
All right.
I mean, I do think we gotta say though, the second bit of the show was like clearly much better than the first one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We have a
Much
great
better.
quote from Noah, which is slightly inappropriate. But so it was the white person the first half, and Noah said the black dating game is way better.
It is. Yeah, they had 4 white people on, and it was
It was boring. It was boring.
terrible.
It was pretty
Terrible.
awful.
Terrible.
All these people were way better. They had like personality. They
Yeah.
were in with innuendos. Like the show's all about the innuendos. Sorry, Noah. But like
It is.
without it, it sucks.
Yeah, the one beef I do have is that I do find it very outdated that the white girl only has white contestants and the black girl only got black contestants.
Good point.
Like
Good point.
that, it's a little tone deaf to set it up that way.
I thought the same thing, and I had to wonder if there was some sort of like preferences or something that was like some sort of style sheets or something that producers did, or like line of questioning or something. Like that's the only way I can imagine today to like that ended up like, but it did stand out.
I think that it's that way because it's on primetime ABC, and that's just what we can say
Yeah.
that. The internet can say that, but the general people watching ABC on primetime is way older than you expect. So I like you. They might do it occasionally. They might have a gay episode. Who knows? But they're gonna toe that line closer than you think it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's like in the first season of Master of None, Aziz is like going for this sitcom, and he catches like the producer like saying something inappropriate, but ultimately they're like, we can't have 2 Indian guys on the show, then it'll be the Indian show. It's like you only have 1 Indian guy. It's like I feel like this is like the type of nonsense they're dealing with on this show.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, no,
100%.
just find people that are like can be good on TV, right? Like that's what matters, and they kind of failed with that on the first part.
All right, let's get back to these final. We got to move on. We got to talk about
Yep.
Nate quick. He said that he would give the dogs pocket bacon, like he'd be prepared with pocket bacon, and I just picture him as Rafi,
Yep.
just having bacon on him all the
Yeah.
time.
He's a very Rafi type character.
The second thing is like she did not like. He said this: if you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough.
So
And
bad.
she no like that, but she picked him at the end. So what do I know?
Because it doesn't matter. They're not going on a date.
And then the third contestant, Stefan, like he was a poet. He was really giving some good lines back and forth. We all thought he was going to win.
Yeah.
He definitely personified the dating game. But now looking back, I think he was just trying too hard and was just laying on too thick. That's where he failed.
Yeah, but that's the dating game.
Right, I know. That's
If you're not laying it on too thick, what are you doing?
But like everybody's got to be on board with that, because then like okay, you have to choose like who's laying on the thickest. Like if only one person's doing it, then it's like okay, like I don't care.
All right, we're going to move on to the question. We're doing some questions here.
Yep.
We're
Get it.
rapid fire these questions. Who's the worst human being?
me for not voting for Alone.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I like
think
that
Brian,
answer, but who's the real one?
It's got to be. What was that? Was his name Evan from the first segment? Contestant 1, first segment.
Yeah,
Evan.
That was Evan. Yeah,
I don't know that he was the worst human being though. He just was like the worst on the show.
yeah. I mean, he was definitely the worst person on the show. I think. Maybe Michael Bolton for executive producing the show.
And just kind of being terrible as a host.
No, I don't blame Michael Bone for this. I blame the ABC producers who greenlit this.
That's fair. But if
Yeah,
Michael Bolton
answer.
shows up at your room and you're like, I want to be in a reality show, and it's going to cost like $100,000 an episode, which is like the cheapest thing they ever produced. You're like, okay, like Michael Bolton just get some eyeballs on there. It doesn't do well, doesn't do well, whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
Yeah.
that's all Michael Bolton's fault.
He
So
also is one of the producers. So.
no, that's what I'm saying. He's Michael Bolton is my vote just
There you
because
go.
the show exists and I can blame him.
I'm jumping on the Michael Bolton train.
Fair.
Let's do Apex downgrade for the host.
Zoe
Downgrade.
Deschanel.
I mean, Michael Bolton and Zoe Deschanel are the hosts, which is clearly a downgrade,
I
right?
feel like it's a downgrade.
Yeah,
I feel like Zoe's done better
Like that's
shows.
like not even close.
Yeah.
yeah.
Would this show be better as a Quibi? My answer
Yes.
is yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not even a question on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen a Quibi, so I don't really know how to answer the question.
The thing is, would this be
short?
good
Would
as
this
like
show
a
be-
5-minute segment?
Like,
Oh, 5 minutes?
No, 8
Ooh,
minutes.
That's a little tight.
It's like
8 minutes I could do.
8 minutes is usually how long. they're
Okay.
running.
I could get on board with 8 minutes of this.
There we go. We
I
got
feel
3
like 8
yeses.
minutes. I
For like
would-
each, like the first half and the 8 minutes for the, like, for
it
like
would just
one
be
round of
8 minutes for
people.
one segment.
Right, one segment.
I think that would be almost a perfect.
I could get in on that.
Yeah, and I'll give a little spoiler. So I'm on the Dating Games Instagram now. They've been posting a bunch. They're actually pretty good at the Instagram. Anyway, they
Oh my
get
God.
they they definitely do get better celebrities. So I'll give it to Chris. He
Oh,
said,
oh, oh.
"Don't
Right.
don't do episode 1." And they're going over other celebrities they have over the season. Iggy Azalea, the kid from the Modern Family show.
Why
Tay Diggs, Carmen Electra, Gabriel Iglesias. Like they got decent folk coming on.
Here's the thing. You have clearly recorded every single episode before the season started.
Yeah,
why are you
is-
not picking the
you're
best one
like,
for
why-
season
why-
1,
They're
episode
telling you
1?
this is the best this is gonna get. Like,
That's
how do you not leave
true.
with the banger? All this other shit is that much worse than what we just watched.
That is shocking. Yeah, they definitely seem like they have bigger stars.
To be clear, I didn't want to do this episode because I don't like Nailed It, as I've already described. And this is somebody from Nailed It. So I was like, let's just do this next week. I wasn't saying we wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I think your judgment would have held up.
Well, next time you live and learn, you got to listen to the host.
I don't think the contestants are the problem with this show. Like, it doesn't matter who's on.
I agree with you, Brian. My rating would not have changed no matter who was on it. But that said, all right, let's go to our second favorite question: the production schedule of this show. We're just banging these out, right? Like
Yeah, this
1
is-
week, whole season's done, right?
Yeah, you're making like 3 episodes a day.
At least, yeah. I mean, we already saw it. They shot the season.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
like-
they shot the season in under a week,
Yeah.
5 days. Good.
I think you're doing like 2-3 groups a day. Like what kind of pace?
I think
Check-
it just depends on
Yeah.
the schedule you can get with the celebrities.
Generally, you can
Yeah.
do two shows a day. So looks like they probably taped like
They could
4.
do so many more than two.
But like
This is a 20. This is like maybe a 2-hour segment that they cut down to 20 minutes.
Nah, 20 minutes it's probably an hour for every 10 minutes at least. Like
Yeah.
roughly.
'Cause you got to remember, like a bunch of these have never been on TV before. People too, like these contestants. So
Yeah, but
like
you want
to
the
get
raw.
the good stuff. I know, but I'm just saying, like
It
it's
takes
gonna
a lot
take,
of
It's gonna
time.
take a minute.
Like they got to get dressed up. They got to get their makeup. If they do have an audience, you got to bring them in. You got to
Well, you
warm
could-
them up. You have
you
to test
prep-
the cameras.
You
Like-
prep the new people while the old people are on the stage, dude. There's no like difference.
I think you got a morning sesh, you got a lunch break, and then an afternoon sesh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think we're getting
2 shows
too
a day.
much into the minutia
Yeah, we
here.
are.
I think
We're-
they're doing
2 shows
more.
a day.
You think they're doing
That's fine.
less? Or okay, whatever. Let's get to our. Actually, let's do drinking rules. rules.
Yeah,
Because
so
we actually did the second half of the show, we did drinking rules.
yeah, this made it a lot more fun.
And I think the best drinking rule, which everyone needs to do now, is whenever Zoe Deschanel says celebrity dating game, you do a waterfall, starting with the person furthest to on the right hand side of the TV, and then the next time she says it, the next person starts the waterfall, then the next person, and then it just loops.
I love how you wanted to get into the minutia of how a waterfall works there.
No,
Chris.
I'm just saying the start of
very
the
important.
the start of the waterfall.
you will
Real
run through
stickler for the
people.
rules.
Look up online what a waterfall is. I'm not explaining a waterfall,
I'm
James.
pretty
It's-
sure you've already explained it.
I didn't explain a waterfall.
He didn't, but I'm really glad that you brought this into the drinking rules because like
Yeah,
it's,
this is going to be
Great
a
rule. It's a great
recurring rule, I think, is waterfall.
It's a real game changer.
It was fun. I think it's a great rule.
I can't believe you told people to go chasing waterfalls. That's the number one rule of not to do.
Well, now you have
Is
to
that
sing it.
TLC lyric?
Man,
Yeah.
that's also a drinking rule with this.
Well, it's
the
don't
first,
go
The first
chasing
person to
waterfalls.
bring up the TLC, don't go chasing waterfalls with the joke, has to do a penalty shot. That's a new drinking rule.
I feel like I give penalty shots to give out because there's such a clever line.
Dude, everybody is thinking it. You're just the first one to like.
No, I
go
think you
there.
need to sing it now.
Don't go
Oh, that's
chasing
the
waterfalls.
punishment. Yes,
Yeah.
I like where Chris's head is.
Please listen to. I forget it. Whatever.
Oh man, you're so boring, Brian.
Because I don't know the TLC lyrics.
Brian. You can at least say like you can also sing "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls."
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Do 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 do.
Yeah.
See, I don't know the lyrics. I just know like the basic tune. You just gotta go with
It
it.
just reminds
job,
me
Brian.
of "We're the Millers." 'Cause that's the guy sings that. That's great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Brian, what is your drinking rule?
Okay, so we did anytime a celebrity's name is said, and it's surprisingly often because Michael Bolton wants his name dropped like every 5 minutes.
He's a producer. He needs his name out there. James, you have one?
I don't remember what I had, but I feel like you just kind of know when you need the drink as you're watching.
I think
There's a unanimous.
Another good one we had while we were doing it was any like outrageous answer was
Right.
good. You're like, oh, got a drink for that answer. Like that's
When Walter was telling his stepdad doggy voice, I bust out loud laughing. I had to drink for it. It was
you
great.
had,
was
you
excellent.
got a drink for that. I think those are some pretty good rules.
I gotta say that's the highlight of the show. Was that particular moment?
Yeah.
If there's one moment worth watching.
I mean, I would say if you have a highlight reel, it's just Walter and his jokes.
Yeah.
This show, you would rate it a 10 out of 10, and then the rest 59 minutes, you're like, oh boy, what happened?
I think the best part of the show was us coming up with the drinking rules. That was the best part.
That was,
I'd-
a good,
yes.
that was a good.
I think there's one obvious drinking rule that y'all really didn't touch on, which is whenever time they make a sexual innuendo.
It's too often.
it's too obvious. It's
What are you
like-
trying to do?
I mean, it depends how drunk you,
You
want
gotta
to
think more creatively.
Too often, depends how drunk you want to get, but do a waterfall until they repeat a word.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Just take like that was an activity.
Oh, it's an activity now.
Yeah,
All right.
you know, it's a team activity.
All right. All right.
Okay, so I'm guessing we only have like the final rating, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna do ratings. If you want to do any minutia now it's the
I
time.
do, and it is also about Noah. So
Oh man, the corn is
When-
coming back on me.
when Michael Bolton like first came on and sang his song, Noah said Michael Bolton has a pretty good voice.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, he did.
he does.
Yeah, we know.
Sorry, it's really funny.
Yeah, I was impressed by that. I have one other minutia to add
He's
on.
90. he mustn't have a good voice, even though he's on this stupid reality
But
show about singing.
No,
why
'cause-
would he? Why would anyone be on the show if he couldn't sing?
No, so the reason why I thought it was worthwhile calling out, the first time he sang on the show, it wasn't one of the songs that they prepared beforehand. Vishal starts doing this like very lame kind of rap type song, and then Michael Bolton jumps in, and the way he jumps in was, to me, pretty impressive.
Yeah, he jumps in with his, like he's really singing. At first, I thought like, oh, we'll just pre-record these, blah blah blah, because they know the celebrity. Like they had the lyrics and stuff already, but he's singing on that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. One other minutia, and I don't think this will influence ratings, but it has to do with their IMDb rating of this show.
0.0.
You're close. 2.6.
Oh yeah, not surprising.
Yeah, no.
It's pretty hard to go below a 2 on IMDb.
Yeah.
All right, we do our favorite question is rankings. So we do a stack ranking system where we do top, middle, bottom. If you didn't know that, the beginning of this was probably a little out there. And some people do stack rankings. And I'm going to start it off because I already said what my rating was going to be. Bottom third. This is probably bottom of the bottom. It's terrible. I cannot stand the show. They made a boring show even more boring. Unbelievable. Brian, what do you got for me?
So I had initially guessed that this is going to be in the middle third for me. It has dropped so heavily. It is the middle of the bottom. Zooey Deschanel's awkward dancing and could not save the show. And I don't know why Michael Bolton's there. Like, he's just making a fat cut.
All right, Noah, what do you got for me?
Yeah, so prior to this show,
We all, everyone listened to it.
all right, cool.
You don't need to explain. We know everyone picked middle third except for me.
Sweet. Yeah, it's a clear bottom show. It's definitely not the worst thing we watch. I mean, Walter's really pulling some weight here, as well as Nicole. They're really helping the case out. So it's in the bottom. I'm gonna put it top of the bottom because it's not as cringeworthy or like bad as like our Grizzlies or some of this like overly produced reality shows. So bottom, top of the bottom. I think if they get more Walter and Nicole's on there, you have some really good TV show personalities that can lift up a show.
All right, James, what do you got for me?
Yeah, just jumping right to it. It's definitely in the bottom. I'm going to go middle of the bottom as well. So it's a pretty significant drop from my prediction rating. I agree. The show's not just offensively bad. It's just doesn't do anything for you. And I was just so bored and disinterested in the first segment. But the second segment at least saved it a bit. So that's why it's not from the very bottom. So I'll give it for that. I did think Zoe was good. Mostly good, like not her best stuff, but like mostly good. But aside from that, the show doesn't have a whole lot going for it.
She did have some sick burns.
All right, well, that's it for this show. So let's go to our shout out segment where we all shout out things we've been watching. And I think this is an obvious shout out. The Taskmaster last week is such a banger. It's, my review last week, my rating was not nearly as enthusiastic as I needed to be. I've already watched 2 full seasons of Taskmaster, and it's just like, it's probably the best show I've ever discovered in the 250 whatever plus episodes of reality TV we've watched.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've done 3 seasons.
Well, like, it's just like the first episode, you're like, yeah, that was funny, but like the segments were just like, the people were a little weird, like. But like as soon as you start watching, like you get used to the people and the jokes will start compiling and they're like the like little shticks they have are just more funny. And I don't think we watched a particularly funny episode. And I think that is partially Max's fault for picking that episode. Like it was fine. It was an average episode. But I wouldn't say like my favorite tasks were anywhere near that episode. Right?
Agreed. Yeah. Like there's definitely seasons where like, especially watching from the beginning, like you see like how they kind of just get like smarter about it.
Season 1, the contestants are just so good. They're so funny. They work so well together. I cannot believe we didn't watch season 1, episode 1.
Yep.
Like there's a task in season 1, episode 1 where they have to like eat the most watermelon. And that's like the quintessential so good task that like defines the show. Really is like, how do you take that? They walk into a room and it's just a full watermelon.
Do something.
Then they're like, some people throw it on the ground. Somebody leaves the room, gets a knife and comes back and doesn't get to eat it because they waste all their time getting a knife because they didn't just like throw it on the ground like they needed to. It was great. And then somebody cheated. Oh, it was glorious. So highly recommend Taskmaster. Go watch it. It's all on YouTube. Brian, any other shout outs?
Toucan Birdie is back. If you remember this like cartoon, so if you
Toucan Birdie?
Tuca and Birdie.
Oh, okay.
So there's like a comedy or most
on
people are familiar
Netflix.
with BoJack Horseman on Netflix. The same animator, / creator, created another show, and it got canceled after one season. But now Adult Swim picked it up.
Cool.
So it's kind of exciting to see it back, and it's just like it was. Great.
Nice.
Noah, you got a shout out?
Yeah, I got 2 shout outs. Lego Masters is back.
Very good.
Yeah, great start to the season. It's like last season, just a little bit better. So yeah, that's exciting. And then Hacks. Hacks is a HBO Max show. Very good. It's a comedy about a Las Vegas headliner who's past her prime. Highly recommend.
I've heard good things. James, you have a shout out? No shout out. All right. Well, that's it for us this week. You can find us on Twitter at whoboutttheson. You can find us on Facebook.com/whoboutttheson. And you can email us questions and suggestions at whoboutttheson@gmail.com. I guess side note, sorry about the feed. We migrated hosts and I had to repost a couple episodes. You might have seen and downloaded the finale a couple times. Sorry about that, but everything's resolved. We're back to normal. And we'll see you guys next time.
Tight 70.
Doom, 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 doom.